Hey everybody, this is Brandon Salimi, and I found an article on computerweekly.com that talked about the growing awareness of mobile security and the risk that it's imposing on corporate America specifically. So some of the data that was found in this research study said that 76% of people who responded to the survey admitted to accessing corporate data outside of the network. And so that kind of poses a lot of risks for the current infrastructure in place that keeps all the data in-house kind of when you're in the work environment. Basically utilizing that outside of the work environment allows people to either see what you're doing potentially on public Wi-Fi networks and just kind of expose you to a bunch of other risks. But I'll get into that in a little bit here. So a lot of this is coming through, as I just alluded to, is mobile devices through public networks. And so there's a growing concern kind of due to the tech innovations where people are using more software-based channels like Slack to communicate, and that's tied into your mobile phone, so that can be utilized outside of the work environment since it is mobile-based. It's not like you have to log in with a specific code or anything. So the restrictions around that, there is potential for some compromising by potential hackers. And then corporate email, that's another big one, especially if you're in like a Starbucks, for example. You never know who else is tapping into that network. They could potentially be seeing what you're looking through, sensitive documents. So just things to be aware of. And then storage kind of devices. So you go on Google Drive, you tie that into your email. Even if your email is your personal email, this basically survey focused on people who would share confidential documents or even Dropbox. Just basically keeping files related to the work environment on these public type of accessible networks, especially when they're tied into a public network. And so some of the security risks of having your data exposed, as I alluded to earlier, it basically completely diminishes the infrastructure in place that a traditional perimeter security system works. We have to log in with a special code to get into your account. And so the attacks are much more prevalent because of this, and people are taking advantage of this, specifically with like phishing attacks, since these corporate companies aren't able to monitor what is basically happening on these public networks. That if someone already is inside your phone, inside your account, they aren't going to be able to monitor that as closely. So that's a danger that companies have to be aware of. And so some of the solutions would be to log in through a virtual private network through a different outlet, I guess. When you're removed from the company, kind of the confines of the company perimeter, just to kind of make sure you're logging into a secure system. I feel like that would be the best way to kind of tackle this issue. Obviously, there is some awareness from the people who are making these attacks standpoint that would be happening. So, but those solutions are in the works, and obviously warn employees of what to look out for. That's very important that they're aware and they know exactly what to do in these type of situations. And if something looks suspicious, just report it, and it usually is suspicious if people are asking to click on links or send over any personal information like passwords and other sensitive stuff like that. So just thank you again to Computer Weekly for the article, and I've attached a link below if you guys want to look into it further. Thanks.